Welcome back to a brand new episode of Tommy's Turf Talks. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to choose the correct grass for your lawn. But first, I got to go through a little housekeeping. Please, if you are loving this content and cannot wait for next week's episode, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And make sure to hit that like and share button and share this content with any of your friends and family or anyone in your life that loves lawn and landscape. And also, if you have any questions or any suggestions for future episodes, please leave them down there in the comment section. All right, let's get into how to choose the correct grass for your lawn this fall. So up here in Minnesota, we're dealing with cool season grasses. That's what the majority of the upper part of the United States are planting. As you get down south, we're dealing with warm season grasses. I won't be going through any warm season grasses today on this episode. I will only be talking about cool season grasses for your home lawns. So there are three main types of cool season grasses that comprise most home lawns. They are Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, and fescue. Each of these grass seeds have their pros and cons, and we will be going through each and every one of them so that you can make a better informed decision of what kind of grass you want to start planting on your lawn this fall. First on the list is Kentucky bluegrass. This is a very popular grass type for cool season grasses, mainly because it tends to stay thick because it spreads through rhizomes. You may be asking, what are rhizomes? Well, very simply, rhizomes are just horizontal roots. As the grass plant grows, it grows out horizontal root systems and new shoots of grass grow off of those roots. So that's why Kentucky bluegrass is so popular. It stays nice and thick. If there's any bare spots, it tends to move into those areas and keep your grass looking great all year long. Also, Kentucky bluegrass has moderate to excellent traffic tolerance. So if you got dogs, kids, a lot of activity going on in your lawn, then Kentucky bluegrass might be the right choice for you. It does want quite a bit of water. However, it will go dormant if it's not getting water on a regular basis. It will turn brown, but it can go for about 4 to 5 weeks without a drop of water, and it should come back just fine once water goes onto it. Now, if it goes about 6 weeks with no water, then it could start to die. So you will need to continually water this grass. You're not going to be able to just leave it and let nature take care of it if you live in an area that doesn't get a lot of rainfall. However, there are a few drawbacks to Kentucky bluegrass. It does take quite a while to germinate, anywhere from about 14 to 30 days. So we're in early/mid-October right now. If you choose to seed with Kentucky bluegrass now, there is an off chance that by the time it germinates and the grass is very young, we get a hard freeze and that grass could be killed off. So you may want to choose to do a dormant seed with Kentucky bluegrass at this point in the year, if that's the seed that you choose. I will be going over how to dormant seed later on in a future episode coming up in the next few weeks. Also, the biggest drawback for Kentucky bluegrass is that it does not like the shade. It needs at least 6 hours of direct sunlight a day to really thrive. So if you've got a really shady lawn or shady parts of your lawn, then bluegrass is not going to be great for those areas. You're going to have to just stick to the sunny areas and plant some other seed in those shady areas. That is Kentucky bluegrass. Great grass seed, and it may be the one that you choose this fall. Next on the list is ryegrass. Ryegrass is another very popular seed option for cool season grasses. You see it in a lot of blends. It does have a lot of pros and a few cons. So one of the first and biggest pros for it is that it's very quick to germinate. It could germinate as quickly as 4 days after planting. So this time of year, mid to early October, great grass seed to pick because it should germinate quickly and grow to maturity before we get a hard freeze. Also, if you are needing just a quick grass stand very quickly for, say, erosion control, or you have a party coming up, then ryegrass is the one you want to choose. It's kind of a in-between grass. It has moderate shade tolerance, so it will do well in some shade and also do well in the sun. It has very high traffic resistance. So this seed is used a lot in sports fields. So if you have a lot of activity going on in your lawn, then mixing in a little ryegrass will definitely help to eliminate grass loss if dogs and kids are running on the turf. And it has moderate winter tolerance. So it should survive the winter fairly well. Not as well as bluegrass will, but still fairly good for getting through the winter and coming out of the spring looking great. Now, what are a few of the drawbacks of ryegrass? Well, first and foremost, unlike bluegrass, it will not spread on its own. It is a clump grass, so it will get thicker in one spot, but it will not spread out to bare areas. You will have to throw down grass seed every year, preferably in the fall, if you have a lot of ryegrass in your lawn to keep things nice and thick. Also, it is very water hungry. So, unlike bluegrass that can go about 4 to 6 weeks without water and pop back after going dormant, ryegrass really can only survive about 2, maybe 3 weeks without a drop of water, and it's going to start to die. So if you can continually water it, then it's going to be looking great for you. If you can't, then maybe ryegrass is not the choice that you want to pick. Okay, on to the third and final grass seed type that you find up here in the upper parts of the United States, and that is fescues. Fescues are a great grass. You see them in a lot of blends, and if you got shade, this is the one you want to pick. That's the big pro for fescue. It is fantastic in the shade. Fine fescue does great in deep shade. It actually will look better sometimes when it has deep shade instead of a lot of direct sunlight. And tall fescue will also do fairly well in the shade. So, a lot of shade, fescue is the one you want to choose. It's got fairly moderate germination rates. You're talking about 7 to 14 days. So it's smack dab in between your ryegrass with its quick germination and your bluegrass with its extremely long germination times. The fine fescue groups of fescue grass seed do not have great traffic tolerance. So if you've got a lot of activity going on in your lawn, then you are going to need to continually do some reseeding to replace any kind of damaged turf from kids running around or pets running around. Not great with traffic. Tall fescue, a little bit better, but still not as good as ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass. That, however, wouldn't be a complete deterrence because, again, you could just reseed any kind of damage that's incurred from traffic. It has pretty good winter tolerance. It's going to survive some of the harshest winters. If it does get a lot of ice damming going on low areas, it could die off, but overall, pretty good in the winter. And last but not least, it does have very good drought tolerance. Some fescues can go as long as 80 days without a drop of water, and they will come back after they get some water to them. The blades will die, but the crowns and roots will be just fine, and that grass will pop right back up. Now, one of the detractors for fescue is, just like ryegrass, it does not spread on its own. You will need to do overseeds to try to keep its density up. Because it is a clump grass, it's not going to spread like bluegrass through its rhizomes. However, there is some rhizome type fescue out there. Now, you can find these in certain blends if you do a search on the internet or some specialty seed shops. So if you choose a rhizome type of tall fescue, then you get all the benefits of the tall fescue. You get its great drought tolerance. You get its shade tolerance, but you also have it stay thicker because it's going to spread just like bluegrass through those horizontal root systems and keep those shady areas looking great all year long. Those are the three main types that you're going to see in pretty much every single blend of grass seed out there at any store you go to in the upper part of the United States. So I did go around and stop at Home Depot, Menards, and Site One and went through their seed selections that they have there and pointed out some pros and cons at each one. So hopefully this helps you make the correct decision on where you want to go to purchase your grass seed this fall. All right, let's have a look.
My first stop was the local Home Depot. They have quite a large selection of grass seeds here at Home Depot. So let's take a look at a few of these labels and see if any of these are something that we may want to purchase to put down on our lawns this fall. Here we have a pretty classic seed blend that you'll see all over, Sun and Shade. These usually are great blends for overseeds. This is an all-in-one product. These are fine if you are looking to make things nice and easy for yourself, but if you want to get the biggest bang for your buck on your grass seed, then it's not a great choice. As you can see, over 60% of the total 7 pounds of this bag is fertilizer and coating material, not seed. That means that out of the 7-pound bag, you are only getting 2.8 pounds of grass seed. Make sure that you pay close attention to the description on the bag. This one clearly states that it's for fast temporary lawns. This is because, as you can read here on the label, you can see that it's over 80% annual ryegrass, which is a great option if you want a fast, great-looking lawn for 1 year, but it will not survive the winter. Here is another all-in-one made by Scott's. Another reason why I'm not the biggest fan of these all-in-one products is because a lot of them usually only have nitrogen in the fertilizer that they offer, not phosphorus, which you do want some phosphorus if you're trying to grow new grass seed. Here is one of the few full seed bags that I found here at Home Depot. Not a bad mix, does have a lot of ryegrass for a sun and shade mix, but also look here, this tag is expired. These germination percentages may not be accurate, and this bag is technically outside of its legal sell date. So overall, here at Home Depot, a lot of combo products, a lot of all-in-one bags, not many full 100% seed bags, and the one that I did find was expired. So may not be the best choice to go and grab your grass seed. My next stop was Menards. And again, Menards has a great large selection of grass seeds, and they do seem to have a lot better selection of full 100% grass seed bags than Home Depot did. Here is a full seed bag of Kentucky Bluegrass. Let's take a look and see what the label looks like. Seems to be a good mix, all bluegrass, very low crop seed, inert matter, and weed seed. It's not expired, great bag. It's 3 pounds, so it would work great for a small spot seed. If you want to do an overseed, you're going to need 2 to 3 pounds per 1,000, so might need a lot of these size bags to do that project. Here is a Schultz brand all-in-one blend. And again, not a lot of seed in the bag, but at least it does have better fertilizer with some phosphorus and potassium. It looks to me like a good bag if you want an easy spot repair product. Here is a shade bag that is very well priced at only $10. However, it is half annual rye, and I could not see anywhere on this bag where it says that it's temporary. Again, another reason to be careful and always read the label. Here is a Sun and Shade 100% seed mix. I did notice that a lot of the Sun and Shade mixes at big box stores have a lot of ryegrass in them. I would say that that is not typical of Sun and Shade mixes, and you probably see it a lot at big box stores because ryegrass is usually less expensive, so makes the bag of seed less expensive for the end user. My final stop was at my local Site One Landscape Supply branch. They again had a good selection of grass seeds, and at this location had only 100% seed blends, no combo products. They also only had 50-pound and 10-pound bags, so less size options than Home Depot and Menards, and you would end up spending more for the 50-pound bags, but most likely less per pound of seed. So let's take a look here at this Sun and Shade bag and see what it looks like. As you can see, this is more of an even split between rye, bluegrass, and fescue. So I would argue a better blend if you want a little bit of everything inside of the seed bag. Here's one blend that they call Premium Athletic. Let's take a look and see what the label looks like. This is about 80% bluegrass, 10% rye, so great mix for a sunny area or if you have a lot of high traffic. And let's take a look here at this shade blend. Looks to be a pretty good blend, almost 75% fescue with a bit of rye and bluegrass. So with all that fescue, you're going to get great shade tolerance, and it does have some creeping fescue. So that's that rhizomatous fescue that I was speaking of that will tend to stay thicker than other clump type fescues because they will spread through their rhizome system. So again, pretty good selection here at Site One Landscape Supply. You may end up spending a little bit more because these are 100% seed bags. So you would need to buy your fertilizer and any kind of water retention products separately, but you would get bigger bang for your buck on the seed itself, lower cost per pound of seed.
So there you have it. Those are the 3 spots that I stopped at. Again, if you've got garden centers or local nurseries in your area, by all means, go into those stores, take a look at what they got. The rules on how to choose grass seed are exactly the same no matter where you are. Just make sure you look at that label like we did and make the correct decision on what your goals are with your lawn this fall. All right, so to recap, 3 main types of cool season grass that you can choose for your home lawn. First, bluegrass. Great for keeping the lawn nice and thick. Great for those sunny areas, not great in the shade, and it does have pretty good winter and drought tolerance. Ryegrass. Great for high traffic, great for quick germination. Not great if you don't have an irrigation system and can't keep that grass watered. Does do fairly well in the shade and pretty good in the sun. And fescue, the shade seed. Great for any shady areas that you have. Great drought tolerance, almost 80 days without water. So no irrigation system, fescue may be the one you want to do. But just like ryegrass does not spread on its own unless you go out there and find a rhizome tall fescue type that is going to keep itself nice and thick because it spreads with rhizomes just like bluegrass does. That is this week's episode of Tommy's Turf Talks. I hope this helps you go out there and choose what grass seed type is best for your situation. If you have any questions about this, please leave them down in the comment section. I will answer them as quickly as I can. And if you need help in how to put down this grass seed, make sure to watch my aeration and overseed video or my spot seeding video, and those should answer any questions that you may have. All right, get out there, grow some grass seed, and we will see you again next week.